Hi, I'd like to make some comments today about the 1611 King James Version of the Bible. Every once in a while I'll come across a video. I came across one preacher who posts a lot on YouTube who was talking about the King James Bible as if it is the original inspired version of the Bible. And what he was saying is that the New King James Bible actually changed the words in the Bible. Well, what I like to say about New King James, or about, I'm sorry, King James Onlyism, that's the belief that you're only supposed to use the King James, is this is not a doctrine that Jesus or the apostles taught. And the book of Jude tells us, even if you read it in the King James, for us to contend for the faith that was once delivered to the saints. And King James Onlyism is not a part of that faith. Paul did not use the King James Version. I know some people like to say, if the King James is good enough for the Apostle Paul, then it's good enough for me. But he didn't use the King James Version. And we got his letters passed down in Greek and in not in King James English. The King James Version was translated in 1611 and revised several times, and it looked a little bit different back then. Had I's instead of J's. Most King James people don't have their King Yamis or whatever with a big I on the cover of their Bible. And also, the if you read if you take the whole thing as inspired, it had the Apocrypha in it, okay? And the dedication to the king at the beginning of it talks about the virtues of other translations. So there you have it. That kind of undermines the entire King James Onlyism argument if the actual part of the King James that dedicates it to the king talks about how good other translations are. So I know there are people who like the King James because they say it comes from Antiochian manuscripts. It's based on the Textus Receptus. Okay, you can argue all those things, but other people can translate based on the Textus Receptus and all that. Another thing that's really ironic about some of the King James Onlyists is that they're cessationists, and they, how do you say it? Cessationists. Anyway, they believe that the gifts of the Spirit ceased, including any kind of special gift of prophecy. Some of them believe that way. And if you think about it, how can you have a translation of the Bible where the translators are inspired if the gift of prophecy ceased at 100 AD? So it's kind of self-contradictory. I haven't met many charismatic or Pentecostal King James onlyists that are in the really strict sense. And actually, believing that the gift cease is inconsistent with the idea that the King James is an inspired translation, because the translators in 1611 would have to have a level of inspiration that charismatics or Pentecostals, for the most part, wouldn't claim. That they're actually producing the equivalent of something on par with the original text of the Bible, or at least that's how some King James only is treated. So anyway, a verse that comes to mind when I think about the really radicals with the King James Onlyism is, if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. But that was used in another context. So please don't choose not to be ignorant, and open up your mind a little bit if you're a King James Onlyist, and at least acknowledge that the apostles did not use the King James Version, and it's not the original version of the Bible that was passed down. If you love the King James Version and you think it's a great translation, that's what I've memorized out of. I do think it's a good translation in some ways, but it's outdated because it's not the language that people speak anymore, and there's strengths and weaknesses to it. Anyway, God bless you, and thanks for watching the video. If this video is a blessing to you, or any of the other videos, feel free to email the link around, and also you can check out other videos on the channel. Thanks a lot. Bye.